My child, I need you to pause. I need you to completely stop whatever you are doing right now. Silence the chaotic noise of the world around you and take a very deep, slow, and grounding breath. What I am about to pour into your spirit today is not a coincidence. It is not an accident. It is absolutely not a random message meant for the general public or the fleeting scroll of the world. This is a profound sacred message whispered directly from the highest courts of heaven, bypassing every earthly obstacle, specifically to reach your quiet, waiting heart. God says to you today, you are about to discover a massive, life-altering truth. You're about to discover who has been secretly, quietly keeping a picture of you safely tucked away in their wallet. You are standing incredibly close to a breathtaking truth that has been intentionally hidden from your physical eyes for years. And before your mind begins to race, before your anxieties attempt to build a wall of defense around your fragile heart, God says again with absolute firmness, with undeniable gentleness, and with an overflowing blanket of divine protection, do not be afraid. Nothing will go wrong with you. You are entirely safe. You are completely covered by the blood and grace of the Almighty. You are fiercely guarded by legions of angels who are standing shoulder to shoulder around your life at this very moment. All you need to do right now is open your spirit and simply trust. Tonight, something profound and permanent shifts inside of you. This shift is not happening because the external world has suddenly changed its rotation, but because your internal spirit has finally reached the perfect frequency of readiness. You are finally ready to receive what was always, from the very beginning of time, meant exclusively for you. God has been silently, proudly watching the graceful, quiet way you carry so much heavy weight. He has seen the massive, invisible burdens you strap to your back every single morning. He knows all about your unanswered questions, your deep, agonizing confusion, and your desperate, tearful longing to understand why certain people walked out of your life when you needed them most, why certain people chose to stay only when it was convenient for them, and why certain people chose to stay only when it was convenient for them, and why certain people expertly pretend not to care about you in public, but secretly hold on to fragile parts of your memory as if you are the absolute most precious, sacred blessing they have ever had the privilege to touch. And God says, my beloved child, one of these specific people, the very one who keeps your picture safely hidden in their wallet, is someone whose heart has literally never stopped speaking your name. Even when their mouth is completely silent, their soul is loudly calling out for you. You do not even begin to realize the staggering depth of this hidden reality. You walk through your daily life assuming you are just ordinary, assuming that you fade into the background. But heaven has been closely watching this specific person for a very, very long time. The angels have been watching the agonizing way they fight within themselves every single day. They have been watching the way they suddenly freeze when they remember the exact sound of your voice during unexpected quiet moments. They have been watching the way their heavily guarded emotions accidentally slip out, the way a single tear escapes their eye when they think absolutely no one else in the world is looking. But God sees everything. God sees the darkest, most private corners of the human heart, and God says to you today, your picture in their wallet is not just a simple, printed image to them. It is not just a piece of paper or a digital memory. It is a literal, breathing prayer that they carry with them everywhere they go. When their hands tremble with anxiety, they reach for that picture. When the world feels too incredibly dark and suffocating, they look at your face to remind themselves that pure light still exists. This person has been holding onto your picture like a lifeline for reasons that even they themselves do not fully logically comprehend yet. Maybe they kept it because your gentle presence somehow helped them heal from a traumatic, agonizing past that they never even had the courage to talk to you about. Maybe it is because when absolutely everyone else in their life sharply judged them, misunderstood them, and cast them aside, you simply didn't. You looked at them with eyes full of pure, unadulterated grace. Maybe it is because you effortlessly showed them a kind of unconditional warmth and radiant light that they had never ever experienced before in their entire difficult existence. Or maybe, just maybe, it is because the invisible spiritual bond between your two souls is so much older, so much deeper, and so much more profound than your current earthly memories. It is the exact kind of eternal bond that heaven meticulously writes into your destiny long before you are even born into this world. And God says, "My child, you have absolutely no idea how deeply, how fiercely, and how profoundly you have been loved in absolute silence." There are millions of loud people in your life who speak grandiose words, but feel absolutely nothing inside. And then there are incredibly rare people who stay completely agonizingly silent, but who feel absolutely everything. The one who safely guards your picture belongs entirely to this second kind. For months and perhaps even for several years, you have been physically and emotionally sensing something strange happening around you. You have felt a sudden, unexplainable magnetic pull deep within your spirit. You have had a lingering, heavy thought about someone that you simply couldn't shake off, no matter how busy you kept yourself. You've had a persistent, nagging question that kept returning to your mind right before you fell asleep. Why do I vividly feel their energy even when we are miles apart and not even speaking? Why does it constantly feel like someone is thinking about me with an intense, heavy focus? Why do I suddenly sense someone's protective presence watching over me, caring for me from a vast distance? God says to you right now, you are not crazy, you are not overthinking, you are not making things up in your head to comfort yourself. You are feeling them because they are absolutely, undeniably there in the spiritual realm. My child, the person who carries your picture is someone who constantly, heavily carries your unique energy. No matter where you go in this chaotic life, your pure spirit leaves permanent, gentle, glowing imprints that absolutely never fade from the souls of those who were lucky enough to experience your genuine kindness. You truly do not realize how absolutely unforgettable you are. You do not realize how incredibly rare and breathtaking your soul is. You do not realize how deeply, how permanently you touched and altered hearts that were once freezing cold, painfully empty, or deeply confused before they met you. You completely changed someone's entire life trajectory without even knowing it, simply by being your authentic self. You were the exact miracle they had given up hope of ever receiving. And God intentionally kept this massive, beautiful truth entirely hidden from you until this exact moment, because the timing simply wasn't right before. If heaven had revealed this to you a year ago, or even 6 months ago, the sudden revelation would have completely overwhelmed and confused your gentle spirit. It would have served as a massive distraction from the necessary painful growth you needed to experience on your own. It would have aggressively pulled you into a complex direction that you were not yet emotionally, spiritually, or mentally prepared to handle properly. Because God is the ultimate protector, He actively protects you even from the beautiful truths and the massive blessings that are rightfully meant for you, simply holding them in a safe place until you are fully ready to carry their weight. But now the cosmic timing is aggressively shifting. Now your beautiful spirit is so much stronger than it used to be. Now your tender heart is infinitely wiser, having learned from the painful lessons of your past. Now your spiritual discernment is razor sharp, allowing you to clearly see beyond the shallow masks that people wear. And God says with a proud smile, you are finally ready to know. You are finally ready to handle the magnitude of this silent, consuming love. This person literally looks at your picture when they are hurting the most, when they feel entirely lost in the wilderness of their own mind, and when they feel completely disconnected from the world. Somehow, just the frozen image of your face, the memory of your calming presence, brings them an immediate, overwhelming wave of peace. You might look in the mirror every morning and think you are just ordinary. You might think you are just another average person quietly walking through life, trying your best to survive the day. But God says, my beloved child, you are not ordinary. You are a powerful, divine healer. You are a radiant, undeniable light in a remarkably dark world. Your mere presence has the supernatural ability to completely change the atmospheres of the rooms you walk into. That worn-out picture they carry so carefully is their daily, desperate reminder of hope. It is their physical, tangible reminder that there are still genuinely pure, untainted souls left in this harsh world. It is their comforting reminder that someone exactly like you actually exists, someone entirely genuine, someone incredibly warm, someone who has the rare ability to see far beyond what broken people try to show on the outside. Your beautiful existence physically touched them in profound, miraculous ways that you will only begin to fully understand in the rapidly approaching days. And God says to you with a tone of immense loving urgency, prepare yourself, anchor your heart, protect your peace, because their ultimate, raw, unfiltered truth is rapidly making its way to you. They never showed you the full, terrifying truth of their heart in the past, not because they didn't care about you, not because you didn't matter, but because they simply didn't know how to properly, safely handle the staggering, terrifying intensity of what they truly felt when they looked at you. They were deeply afraid of their own shadows, and they were terrified of dimming your light, dimming your beautiful, radiant light with their unresolved darkness. You must deeply understand the profound, paralyzing fear that gripped their soul the moment they realized exactly what you meant to them. They were simply not ready for the magnitude of your spirit. They were not emotionally stable enough. They were not entirely healed from the brutal wars of their own past. And they were absolutely not confident enough to step forward, look you in the eyes, and tell you the raw, terrifying truth of their heart. The thought of offering you their broken pieces felt like a profound injustice to someone as pure as you. They desperately wanted to be the perfect sanctuary for you, but they felt like a house with a collapsing roof. So, what did they do? They retreated, they put up walls, they allowed an agonizing distance to grow between you, completely terrified that their own internal chaos would somehow spill over and contaminate your beautiful, peaceful energy. But even with all that physical and emotional distance, absolutely nothing could erase, diminish, or quiet the magnificent awakening you sparked deep inside of their chest. They carried you with them literally in their wallet, spiritually in their daily prayers, and emotionally in the very fabric of their being. And God says, the unvarnished, breathtaking truth is actively making its way to you right now. Not to scare you, not to throw your peaceful life back into chaotic confusion, but to divinely prepare you for the ultimate harvest of your tears. Because what is hidden in the dark must absolutely be revealed in the light when the creator of the universe decides that the cosmic clock has struck the perfect hour. For so long, you have lived with a quiet, persistent ache in your chest. You have constantly asked heaven, why do I feel their presence so heavily when they are nowhere to be found? God says, it is because their spirit never actually left your side. No matter where you wander in this vast, unpredictable life, your incredibly rare soul leaves permanent, gentle, glowing imprints that simply never fade from the memories of those who have experienced your unconditional warmth. You do not realize how deeply you touched a heart that was once freezing cold, painfully empty, and utterly terrified of love. You completely changed someone's entire trajectory without even trying, simply by existing in your authentic, loving truth. But you must also understand the divine mechanics of why God meticulously kept this massive secret hidden behind the veil until this exact, precise moment in your life. If this profound revelation had dropped into your lap during your previous seasons of deep emotional fragility, it would have completely derailed you. It would have pulled you into a chaotic whirlwind of fixing them, saving them, and abandoning your own critical healing journey in the process. You would have sacrificed your own peace to carry their heavy burdens, just like you have tragically done with so many wrong people in your past. God, in His infinite protective wisdom, actively shielded you even from the beautiful truths that were rightfully yours, because He knew you needed to learn how to stand entirely on your own 2 feet first. He needed you to reach a place of unshakable emotional stability. He needed you to grow spiritually fierce, to learn how to depend solely on His divine presence instead of the unpredictable validation of human beings. But look at you now. Look at the magnificent, resilient, deeply grounded person you have become through the fire. Your heart is no longer a fragile piece of glass ready to shatter at the slightest disappointment. Your spiritual discernment is razor sharp. You are fully equipped to receive profound love and massive truth without ever losing yourself in the process again. And God says, with absolute resounding authority, now, you are ready to know. This person who secretly holds your picture has spent countless agonizing nights wrestling with their own demons, fiercely fighting a war against their own fear. The fear of entirely losing you if they messed up. The crippling fear of failing your pure heart. The suffocating fear of not being enough to provide the beautiful, stable life you so clearly deserve. The terrifying fear of repeating the toxic, destructive mistakes of their past relationships and accidentally bleeding their unhealed pain onto you. The paralyzing fear of finally showing their true, vulnerable heart and being catastrophically misunderstood or rejected by the one person whose opinion matters more to them than life itself. It was this intense, overwhelming fear that forced them into agonizing silence. Fear made them emotionally distant. Fear made them expertly hide the breathtaking intensity of what they were truly feeling behind a mask of casual indifference or confusing inconsistency. And yet, even while completely consumed by that crippling fear, their trembling hands still refused to let go of your picture. Why? Because the human mind can lie, but the human soul simply cannot. Deep inside the most guarded vaults of their heart, there is a stubborn, undeniable part of them that absolutely believes, with every fiber of their being, that you are destined to be the most beautiful chapter in their life story. This is not some fleeting, superficial romantic fantasy. This is not a toxic obsession built on physical attraction or temporary loneliness. This is not an illusion created by a desperate mind. This is a profound, undeniable spiritual recognition, because your radiant, pure energy actively healed them when they were entirely broken, bleeding, and ready to give up on the world. God says to your spirit right now, my beloved child, someone who miraculously heals because of your light will never ever be able to forget you. They may try to move on, they may try to busy themselves with worldly distractions, but their soul will constantly, aggressively pull them right back to the exact memory of your face. And heaven is actively, meticulously preparing a beautiful, cleared path for this heavy truth to finally unfold gently, safely, and entirely under divine supervision. You will absolutely not be overwhelmed by chaos. You will not be pressured into making rushed, panicked decisions. You will not be misled, manipulated, or played with ever again. God Himself is personally supervising this upcoming revelation to ensure that your fragile, beautiful heart remains entirely protected from any unnecessary shock or pain. In the coming days, God is going to speak to you through undeniable physical confirmations. There will be signs so obvious that you will not be able to brush them off as mere coincidences. You're going to experience a dream that feels so incredibly vivid, so emotionally heavy and real, that you will wake up feeling as though you just had a physical conversation with their soul. A sudden, deeply buried memory of them will unexpectedly resurface in the middle of your busy day, stopping you dead in your tracks. A completely unexpected message will appear on your screen, or their specific name will keep aggressively popping into your mind, spoken by strangers or seen on random signs. God says to you with loving firmness, pay very close attention to your surroundings right now. I am actively guiding you out of the wilderness of confusion. Your finely tuned intuition will absolutely not mislead you in this season. Your pure, trusting heart will not betray you. Your spirit will not be clouded by the enemy's dark confusion. God is shining a blinding, purifying light on absolutely everything that was previously kept in the shadows. You need to understand exactly how this person truly sees you, far beyond the physical realm. They have seen you in incredibly rare, vulnerable ways that the rest of the loud, busy world entirely misses. They deeply, profoundly admire your quiet, dignified strength. They admire your fierce, uncompromising loyalty to the people you love. They admire your boundless, overflowing compassion that you so freely give, even to those who have deeply wronged you. They watch in absolute awe at the graceful way you silently survive massive, destructive life storms without ever complaining or becoming bitter. They admire the breathtaking, miraculous way you continuously keep giving pure love to the world, even while walking around with a heavily wounded, bleeding heart. And because they recognize the absolute rarity of your soul, they quietly, secretly, and consistently pray for you. They ask God to fiercely protect you from the cruel intentions of the world. They ask God to abundantly bless your hands and your future. They ask God to permanently remove the heavy, lingering pain from your chest. They ask God to heal your deep, unspoken loneliness. They ask God to keep you entirely safe when they cannot be there to do it themselves. And God heard every single one of those tear-soaked, desperate prayers. Now heaven is actively, aggressively preparing both of your spirits for the monumental, explosive moment when the absolute truth finally shatters the silence. God says to you, "My beautiful, patient child, do not panic. Do not let your past traumas convince you to build a wall and run away from the very blessing you have been begging for. You are safe. Your life is officially permanently entering a golden season where dark secrets, toxic hidden agendas, and cowardly silences are simply no longer allowed to hide in your presence. This is your ultimate season of crystal clear clarity. This is your ordained season of profound, undeniable revelation. This is your glorious season of pure emotional truth. For so many agonizing years, you have always been the one who endlessly gives. You have been the one who deeply understands everyone else's flaws. You have been the one who silently carries the heavy emotional baggage of the people around you entirely alone. You have been the one who expertly hides your own bleeding wounds just to avoid troubling others or being a burden. But the scales of cosmic justice are finally tipping in your favor. Now, God is handing you something magnificent, a breathtaking truth, a divine connection, a profound revelation, a permanent healing, and a massive, undeniable divine confirmation. This person who secretly, carefully carries your picture is someone you will see through entirely new, spiritual eyes once the final truth is fully revealed. To you in the coming days, you will suddenly realize that they are not a flawless, perfect being devoid of mistakes. They have stumbled, they have fallen, and they have wrestled with their own agonizing human imperfections and deep-seated insecurities. But the one thing they have never ever faked, not even for a single second, is the pure, undeniable reality of their deep, consuming feelings for you. God says, look back at your personal history for just a moment. You have been so deeply, profoundly disappointed time and time again. You have poured your golden, beautiful trust into the hands of the absolute wrong people, only to watch them carelessly drop it and shatter it on the floor. You would be left standing in the freezing rain without a single word of closure or explanation, entirely abandoned by those who loudly promised you forever. You've been callously used for your resources, drastically misunderstood by those who simply refused to see your depth, and consistently taken for granted by individuals who did not have the spiritual capacity to appreciate the rare, magnificent masterpiece standing right in front of them. But hear the booming, comforting voice of the Almighty right now. This time, it is drastically, permanently different. Heaven has absolutely drawn a hard, impenetrable line in the sand. And God Himself will not allow your fragile heart to be hurt, manipulated, or played with ever again. The magnificent, life-altering truth that is currently speeding toward you is heavily protected by the very hands of the Creator. You might be sitting there right now, tears welling in your beautiful eyes, wondering to yourself with a heavy sigh, why right now? After all this heavy, exhausting time, after all this deafening, agonizing silence, why would heaven choose to reveal this massive secret to me right now? The divine answer is as beautiful and profound as your soul. Because you have finally, painstakingly reached a plateau of unshakable emotional stability. Because you grew incredibly, fiercely, spiritually strong while wandering alone in the dark wilderness of your pain. Because you finally learned the hardest, most vital lesson of all, to depend entirely and solely on God, rather than placing your ultimate hope and self-worth in the fragile, unpredictable, and often selfish hands of human beings. because your beautiful heart is no longer a fragile, easily shattered thing. You have been intensely forged in the fire. You are finally completely ready to receive overwhelming, unconditional love and staggering truth without ever losing your own identity or compromising your boundaries in the process. And God says, because you can finally handle the sheer immense weight of this revelation, He is actively releasing it into your physical reality. This upcoming revelation is absolutely not going to break you down. It is going to beautifully, miraculously bless you beyond human comprehension. It is not going to throw your peaceful, carefully rebuilt life into chaotic, exhausting confusion. It is going to hand you the crystal clear clarity you have been begging for while on your knees. It is not going to make you feel weak, vulnerable, or foolish. It is going to powerfully force you to understand your own staggering, immeasurable cosmic value. When this person finally steps out of the shadows, drops their heavy armor and places their naked truth at your feet, you will realize something so profoundly powerful that it will permanently alter your spiritual DNA. You are absolutely never forgotten. You were never casually ignored or cast aside. You were never ever replaceable to them. You were never unloved, unwanted, or uncherished. You were simply loved in profound, agonizing silence by someone who is absolutely terrified of their own unworthiness. But heaven has officially declared that their season of fearful silence has a strict expiration date, and that exact date is rapidly, undeniably approaching your doorstep. I need you to actively prepare your heart right now, gently, calmly, and entirely without a single ounce of fear. God says your hard-earned precious peace is fiercely protected by elite angelic forces. Your future path is brilliantly illuminated and guarded. Your fragile, loving heart is heavily shielded from any form of spiritual or emotional attack. Absolutely nothing and no one in this physical realm or the unseen spiritual realm will be permitted to harm you or steal your joy. You are bravely, beautifully walking into a monumental season of raw emotional truth under strict, unyielding divine supervision. And when you finally discover exactly who carries your picture, exactly why they felt the desperate, consuming need to keep it close to them, and exactly what your radiant soul truly means to their existence, you will instantly fall to your knees in overwhelming gratitude. You will fully, completely understand exactly why God forced you to wait until this exact, perfect moment. Because this time, the revelation will not leave you in ruins. It will permanently bless your life. It will physically and spiritually strengthen your resolve. It will instantly make perfect, logical sense of 100 different things that once deeply confused and tormented your anxious mind. It will bring massive final closure to the bleeding areas of your past and completely throw open the golden, heavy doors of your magnificent future. It will bring miraculous, soothing healing to deep, hidden wounds that you still don't even like to talk about. It will completely awaken a fierce, undeniable sense of self-worth that the cruel world viciously tried to bury. God is wrapping His warm, comforting arms around your tired spirit right now, whispering softly into your ear, "My beloved child, completely trust me. Take a deep breath, let your shoulders drop, and trust the author of your story. You are safe. I promise you absolutely nothing will go wrong with you. You are not wandering aimlessly in the dark. You are being precisely, carefully guided. You are not vulnerable to the enemy's traps. You are being fiercely, aggressively protected. You are not forgotten by the universe. You are being watched over with intense, loving jealousy by the Creator Himself. You are being perfectly, meticulously prepared for the absolute greatest chapter of your entire existence. And most importantly, you are not alone, not for a single fleeting moment. Heaven is actively standing with you in the room right now. God is sitting right beside you, feeling the exact steady rhythm of your beating heart. Your physical and spiritual steps have been divinely ordered since long before you took your very first breath on this earth. Your tender heart is completely covered by His infinite, unfailing grace. Your beautiful spirit is protected from every dark intention, every jealous eye, and every hidden agenda. Your breathtaking destiny is entirely secured, heavily guarded, and locked into place. And very, very soon, before you even have a chance to doubt your intuition again, you will finally discover the stunning truth that heaven kept deliberately hidden until now. The person who holds your picture, the one who has cried bitter tears over it, prayed desperate prayers over it, and held onto it like a drowning person holding onto a life raft in the middle of a raging ocean, is finally about to reveal the absolute terrifying depths of their heart. They have been entirely stripped of their paralyzing pride by the hand of God. They have been miraculously healed of their crippling insecurities. God has actively, aggressively worked on their spirit in the background, breaking them down and building them back up, preparing them to be the stable, unwavering rock that you so desperately need and rightfully deserve. They are no longer the frightened, hesitant, broken person who had to hide their massive feelings in the dark. Heaven has fortified them, matured them, and aligned them entirely for you. And when they finally speak to you, their words will not be empty, shallow promises designed to manipulate your emotions or waste your precious time. Their words will carry the heavy, undeniable, grounding weight of absolute divine truth. You will look deeply into their eyes, past their physical exterior, and you will instantly see the sheer magnitude of what you've always meant to them. You will physically feel the heavy, invisible, unbreakable string that has always kept your two souls tethered tightly together across time, across vast distance, and across years of agonizing silence. My beautiful, incredibly resilient child, breathe for a moment. Just breathe. Let the heavy weight of the world slide off your back. Because what I am speaking into your life right now is not just a comforting story to help you sleep peacefully tonight. It is a massive, prophetic, divine revelation being permanently released into your spirit at the exact, masterfully orchestrated moment you were meant to hear it. You have carried thousands of heavy, painful questions inside your tired heart that absolutely no human being around you has ever been able to answer. You have physically felt the cosmic tectonic plates shifting beneath your feet, trying to reveal a massive, life-altering truth to you, in tiny, frustrating pieces, in strange, undeniable signs, in recurring angel numbers, and in vivid, cinematic dreams that left you waking up with a racing heart and a breathless chest. I'm telling you right now, with the absolute, unquestionable authority of the divine, you did not imagine a single second of it. You were not overthinking. You were not going crazy. Heaven has been meticulously, carefully preparing your physical nervous system and your spiritual mind for this massive moment of divine collision. And now God is permanently breaking the agonizing silence to show you exactly what has been fiercely protected in the shadows of this person's heart for all this time. You are about to discover exactly who has kept your picture in their wallet, incredibly close to their chest, close to their entire life, close to their most desperate, tearful prayers, and intimately close to their darkest, most fiercely guarded secrets. This profound message has reached you today specifically because God wants you to finally, completely rest. He wants you to stop fighting the current. He wants you to know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are entirely safe, entirely protected, and flawlessly guided in absolutely every single step that follows this massive revelation. The painful, exhausting season of waiting is officially, permanently over. The cowardly season of hiding is permanently closed. The beautiful, terrifying, magnificent, soul-shaking truth is finally here, standing right at your door. If you are truly ready to bravely step into this light, fully receive this massive, long-awaited blessing, and finally discover who has loved you so deeply in the dark all this time, open your beautiful heart, completely trust the divine timing of the universe, and type Amen to claim this as your permanent reality today.